the end of the month, and as the title says, that means it is wrap-up time. It is my June wrap-up and July TBR, along with my #AYearAthon TBR for July, which is the first full week of the month. Let's get started. I have a lot of books to talk about because I'm crazy! Okay, so starting off with what I read in June. During #AYearAthon, I read The Hero and the Crown by Robin McKinley, Damien, Son of Batman by Andy Kubert, Red Hood and the Outlaws, Volume 4 by James Tinian IV and Julius Gopez, Batman 5, Zero Year, Dark City by Scott Snyder, Greg Capullo, Danny Mickey, and FCO Placencia. I don't know how to say that last name. Batman and Robin, Volume 4, Requiem for Damien by Peter J. Tomasi, Patrick Gleason, and Mick Gray. And The Ties That Bind by Jude Watson, Volume 14 of Jedi Apprentice. If you want to know more about this and the other titles I mentioned that were from the library, so I turned them in, check out my #AYearAthon wrap-up down in the doobly-doo. But for the ones holding, this was a 3 out of 5 stars, and this one was a 4 out of 5 stars. Quite good. After #AYearAthon ended, I continued with A New Dawn, which I had started during #AYearAthon. This is by John Jackson Miller. I have a review for this coming very soon, and I loved it. I really liked this book a lot. It was quite good. This is for the Rebels TV show. This is a prequel where we get to learn how Kanan Jarrus, who is a Jedi Padawan that survived Order 66, managed to survive that, and how he teamed up with Hera and eventually started Rebels and fighting against the Empire, and why he would do that after what he's gone through. So it was actually really well done, and I really enjoyed it. This was a 4 out of 5 stars. Then I moved on to my TBR jar pick of the month. Read a book with a movie adaptation and watch said movie. I have not watched the movies. As I said in my last video, I just didn't get around to it yet because I'm watching it with other people, not on my own. But I read The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins, and I finally know what the hype is about. And no, it doesn't entirely live up to it. There are a lot of flaws in this. I do have a full review coming for this, as well as the next books in the series. I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. And yes, right after that I read Catching Fire, and I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. And I liked this less than I liked this. Katniss, I understood her being kind of dumb in this, and she was even stupider in this. And just, there are moments where I'm like, you're so dense! She's very stupid in Catching Fire. I really enjoyed this much more than this one. This stayed at a 4 out of 5 stars because the ending, and I was like, I don't know how people could survive not having Mockingjay right after this. I really enjoyed some of the action. I really liked Joanna and Finnick and Peeta, and I did fall in love with the characters. I just think it could have been done better. And I'm looking forward to seeing the movies because I keep hearing the movies are better. After that, I took a break in between reading Mockingjay because I had trouble with it. So I decided to pick up Forever Evil by Jeff Johns, David Finch, and Richard Friend. You have to read this before you can finish Nightwing Volume 5. Which is annoying, but at the same time, it's very understandable. Nightwing goes through something incredible in this. Basically, the Justice League is taken out by an evil Justice League called the Crime Syndicate comes, and they trap all of the Justice League members, and they take over with "The world is ours" is their slogan. Shit gets real really fast, and I really liked it. It was very good. The only people left to fight are the supervillains, and they have to decide, do we like the world the way it was and our role in it, or do we want to sign up with the Crime Syndicate? And it's interesting. We're mostly following Lex Luthor. He's just not necessarily a bad guy in this, and it's really intriguing, and I actually liked it quite a bit. There are more spin-offs of this, and I'm going to continue them because this was so good. This was a 4.5 out of 5 stars for me. After that, I moved on to, I think, my favorite book of the month, Miss Marvel by Wilson and Alfona. OMG. A female Muslim superhero, and it is great. It is so good. Oh my gosh. Camilla Khan is an ordinary girl in Jersey City trying to find balance between trying to be a cool girl and sticking with her family's traditional Muslim beliefs. She gets into trouble a lot, she talks back, she is a very typical American teenage girl. And then she gets superpowers. It's so good. And I think what I like about it is that she is so normal. And because I'm a Mormon, so I'm very religious, and so some of those kind of same stigmas that people ask, well, why aren't there female leaders in the Mormon religion? Well, there's some, but you can't be a prophet and all these other things. I understood that, and I understood kind of questioning and trying to find that kind of balance, like, where do I sit with my religion in my life? Do I want to give up my religion? No, I don't. I want to stay with it. I really connected with Camilla, and she was so funny, and it's witty. Her brother is hilarious. He's this traditional Muslim priest guy, not like those like women are beneath all men, but he's more like, I don't need this job that will offend Allah. And his father's like, well, that job is the reason you're able to sit there and pray about Allah. It's so funny. It was this typical family dynamic. I loved it. It was 5 out of 5 stars. My #1 complaint is look how thin it is compared to DC comic books. Oh my gosh, this is so thin and it was so quick, and I can't wait to read volume 2. OMG, this was so well done, and it was a scream. Oh, I loved it. So good. So good. Favorite of the month. OMG, I need to own this. OMG, I need to read all of it now. The same day I read those, I decided to start and finish very quickly volumes 1 and 2 of the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time manga by Akira Himekawa. I've read these a bazillion times. I love them. I just was looking for something light and fluffy, especially because, again, I was in the middle of trying to read Mockingjay, and it's not very easy to read, and it's so sad, and everyone died, and I was terrified out of my mind to read it because OMG, because all those people died, and it's just, oh man, so I had trouble with that, and so I was trying to find something light to read. I also managed to read online for free ElfQuest Blood of 10 Chiefs by Wendy and Richard Pini. I really love ElfQuest. I love rereading it. I've moved past most of the main quest, and I'm now in the split up storylines just before the big breakdown of shards, which is really cool. I just was rereading it for the gazillionth time. Again, 5 out of 5 stars. Favorite. Love it. After that, I buckled down and I read all of Mockingjay by Suzanne Collins, and this let me down. And it was good, and it was terrible at times. My main complaint, Katniss passes out all the time, and I saw someone left a comment on my last video about that, about how, it's so frustrating. You can tell Suzanne Collins was having trouble trying to deal with it. Instead of having her deal with her emotions, she just knocked out, and it's so stupid. Ugh. I understand that she needed to take some time with it. I know she probably needed to take a break with it, but she should have just done that instead of what came out. This is definitely the worst of the bunch, and yet it's the only one that made me cry, and not when I expected to. I didn't feel anything for a lot of character deaths, but towards the end, the big one at the end. Y'all know who I'm talking about. After everything's said and done and Katniss breaks down. Tears. I cried reading this. Sorry if anything's changed. My battery died, so it's been several hours as it charged. So I'm pretty disappointed in this. It's not a very good ending to the series and didn't do it justice. But you wanna know a bad ending. You wanna know another bad ending, a very blah ending that didn't do it justice? Teen Titans, Volume 5, The Trial of Kid Flash by Scott Lobdell, Tyler Kirkham, and Art Thibault. Or Tibbert. However you say that last name. Golly, this is just slapped together. This was like several books squashed into one, and this was, they probably had a million ideas and realized they couldn't do any of them because there are only 5 volumes for most of the new 52 thingies. It all ends and nothing ends, really. It ends on a bazillion different cliffhangers and they all scatter. No, I did not like this very much at all. This is a 3 out of 5 stars as well, because it's not terrible, but After that, I finally read the last chapter of Nightwing Volume 3, Setting Sun by Kyle Higgins, Will Conrad, Cliff Richards, and Russell Dauterman. This is the opposite of that. Is beginnings, not endings, and not a cliffhanger so much as setting things up for something more. This, it kind of ends and you don't know where it's going or what's gonna happen next, and instead of being like, oh, I can't wait to read what's next, it's kind of like, that's it? Seriously? This is so much better of an ending, and I want to continue reading it. I need to know what continues. Again, this ties into Forever Evil, so you have to read that along with this volume. The very last thing I completed, I did yesterday, and it is Vader's Little Princess by Jeffrey Brown. This is the companion novel to Darth Vader and Son. I just bought it. It was 10 minutes to read. It is so adorable and so cute and so well done, and I enjoyed it a lot. 5 out of 5 stars. I'm so glad I have it to add to the collection. I have a few more Jeffrey Brown books that I need to buy, but these things are like 15 bucks. Individually, full price. And even so, I still shelled out like $8, $7, $8 for this, so half of it. This was $1. But, so expensive. That's everything that I read. What I am currently reading, if you saw my #AYearAthon wrap up for the month, I read Star Wars The Clone Wars by Karen Travis. I am 104 pages into it. It's a little difficult to read because, of course, this is before the Clone Wars TV show, so some things aren't canon, very off in some aspects, but I'm going to continue reading it. I am liking it so far despite that problem. The other one I just started, I am only 50 pages in, and it is Tiger's Curse by Colleen Hooke, or Hook, or however you say her name. I don't know. Look at how pretty this is. This is a beat up, but I fixed some of the damage done here. But this is a signed copy. I doubt you can see it, but there's her signature right there. I got it for like $3 at Goodwill, or $2 at Goodwill. But I am enjoying it so far. I had some problems with the beginnings. The character is in a similar situation to Jessica's Guide to Dating on the Dark Side by Beth Fantasy, so that kind of hindered me. But it means I also did not read a book you gave up on before and finish it. This is part of Katie Tastic's TBR jar challenge, which I am moving on to next. So I need to finish this. For that, and because I want to finish it, and I have the rest of the books so far. The other ones I did, read an award-winning novel. This is from 3 months ago, and I did it right at the beginning of the month. The Hero and the Crown by Robin McKinley. This I can finally toss. I am done. I can give that back to Raven. Read a book with a movie adaptation to watch said movie. Again, The Hunger Games. Haven't watched the movies yet, but I count it as done. I just need to do this. So, on my TBR jar challenge, I don't have much more left. Let's see what I pull out this month. Red. Reread a favorite book. Huh. Okay, so I need to add something to my TBR pile that's quite huge. So to go along with this, I am rereading The Death of Hope by Jude Watson, Jedi Apprentice 15. This is one of my favorite series as a kid. I only had read like the first 7 or 8, maybe 9. Woo, as a child, but I slowly started to get into them again as an adult, and I'm rereading the entire series. In case y'all don't know, because I do know I have some new people. Hi! But I've wanted to read this in order, and I can finally reread this. This looks new, like no one ever touched it, like they bought it and then didn't read it. Well, that's going to change. I'm probably going to put creases down it. Hopefully not, they're out of print. That is adding to this. There, that's where they sit to stare at me when I look at my books. As for the other reading challenge, this is Pop Sugar's 2015 reading challenge. I did complete several more, so let's just go through those. A book a friend recommended. I'm going with The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. Everyone recommended this to me. My mother, my aunt, my cousins, my best friends, people I didn't even know, my father, everyone and their mother recommended this to me. And I read it. Yes! A book that became a movie. I went with Catching Fire by Suzanne Collins. Haven't seen the movie yet, going to. A book that scares you. Mockingjay by Suzanne Collins. Dear sweet goodness, this book scared me, and I didn't even realize it until it was time to read it, and I didn't want to read it because everybody dies. I read a list of the major events in this book before, and I didn't comprehend a lot, but I just remember the number of character deaths was insane. And the last one, a book just based on the cover, and that is A New Dawn by John Jackson Miller. I saw him on a video on the Star Wars YouTube channel. I'll link it down in the doobly-doo. He said, yeah, I did a new Dawn, and I was like looking up them, and then I saw Kanan and Hera, and I'm like, want to read, read it. Yes, it's just because Kanan and Hera were on the cover. That's the main reason. Okay, on to the rest of my TBR for a hashtag AYearAthon. It is Mystery Month, and originally I wasn't going to participate, but then the fans voted on the poll of what to read, and I'm going to read at least one short story in the complete Sherlock Holmes Treasury by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. There are a bunch of short stories. This thing is hefty. There are 24 short stories in here, so I can read at least one and then I will count myself as done. This thing's so big. I have to read it off of work. I can't tote this thing around. This is a beast, man. This is a beast. I'm just like flipping through. Oh my gosh, look at this. It looks like an old dictionary. Look how small that font is. Oh, it's like 10-point font. It's tiny. Goodness gracious. Oh, I have a bunch more that I want to read. I have 4 books that I own, and I have 4 comics here, and then I have a couple things at the library. One is Miss Marvel Volume 2 by Wilson and someone else. I can't wait to read that. I cannot wait. Things that I own, I hauled these in recent months and want to read them. The one on top here is Bleach, Official Character Books, Souls by Tite Kubo. The rain drags black sun down. I already was flipping through this and I needed to go to bed and I spent a good 10 minutes reading this. So very eager to read this. It looks good. I'll fly through it. I know I will. Another one I'm excited for is Maleficent. This is by Elizabeth Rudnick. I just bought this. I want to try to read this, but this is kind of at the bottom of my TBR. Something else I really, really want to get to is 4 by Veronica Roth, the Divergent collection stories from 4's perspective through before and during the trilogy. I can't wait to read this. I have been dying to read it, especially because I just bought Divergent and watched it, and I want to get to this. Also, this movie is coming out soon, and it's The Isle of the Lost by Melissa de la Cruz. This is a Descendants novel for the Disney Channel original movie Descendants. Really, really want to see that, and I really, really want to read this first. Other comics that I have Batgirl Volume 5, Deadline by Gail Simone, Fernando Passarin, Jonathan Glapion, Robert Gill, and Javier Garron. Very eager to read this. This has been sitting here for forever. Kind of forgot I had it. I thought I had already read it, and I hadn't. I need to read it. Nightwing, Old Friends, New Enemies. I may read this, I may not. This is kind of 70s style. It's by someone Wolfman, it doesn't say. Cherie Wilkerson, Eric Larson, Mike DiCarlo, and Tom Mandrake. I may read this, I may read 10 pages and DNF it. Red Hood and the Outlaws Volume 5, The Big Picture by James Tinian IV, Will Peffer, John Kitting, Raphael Sandoval, and Jordi Tarragona. Need to get to this. And the very last thing is Injustice, Gods Among Us, Year 2, Volume 2 by Tom Taylor, Bruno Redondo, Mike S. Miller, and Tom Derenick. This is the final volume of this before you get to the game. I don't think they're continue into the game. I'm just going to have to watch a walkthrough or something, which I've done a lot of because I suck at video games, but very eager to see this and set things up for the game, and very eager to see what happens during the game and this crazy Earth where Superman is evil. Okay, that is my TBR pile. That is everything that I've read. This video is probably hugely long. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to see more. Every Friday is a book review as long as I can stay on top of things. Good luck with your reading, and I hope that you had a great June and will have a great July, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye! Hey guys! So today, as the title says, it is the end of the month, so it is my June. As I said in my this was a 5 out of 5 for me. Or no, she's a very typical. I'm just trying to fly at me. Bye. Finnick died, and all these other people I knew. Oh, that's kind of spoilery, in case you haven't. Well, who hasn't read it other than me? Elf Quest Volume Blood of. Bleh. in upside down. Good job. Okay. I've been doing that recently. Have you noticed that in all my bloopers down here? I do that a lot. You know what? I'm gonna do what I said I was gonna do. Oh goodness, now I have to move this. That's cold. I took my shorts off, it's hot. I keep saying the same thing over and over again. I'll link it down in the doobly-doo, along with everything else. That's so terrible to me. Oh, poor Lorian. Christmas 1978. We hope your family enjoys this book. Merry Christmas. Phil, Nancy, John, and Paige. Obviously they didn't. They sold it. So very eager to see. Is it recording? It's recording. Ta-da! I made it to the end after 3 tries.